Welcome to the Create Your Happy podcast, where the mission is to empower women in their journey of self-discovery. Here we explore how to fully embrace our humanness, find our unique voice, and understand that through unconditional love and conscious relationships, we have the power to change the world. I'm your host, Christy Holt, your one and only Happiness Hussy, adventure guide, and conscious funpreneur. I'm on a heartfelt mission to change the world one beautiful soul at a time. Are you ready to elevate your relationships to the next level? I've got you. It's time for a messy fucking beautiful adventure. It's time to create your happy. Hello, gorgeous humans, and welcome back to another episode of the Create Your Happy podcast. I'm Christy Holt, your guide on this messy fucking beautiful adventure called life. And in this episode, I'm going to be debunking yet another fairy tale myth that's been fed to us since, well, maybe forever. And this is the notion that love conquers all, or that all you need is love. All right, my friends, are you ready? Because we are going to dive right in. Let's go. Now, this myth that love is all you need has been around for ages, right? Fairy tales, romantic movies, and even pop songs have been selling us this idea for decades, at least. But let's get real. Love is all-powerful, but it's not just a magic wand to change all of the things around you. Love is here to serve you and change you. Now, to dive a little bit more into this topic, you can also check out episode 2 of the season, in which I spoke about how love can transform your relationships from the inside out. Now, one of the reasons that this myth persists is because, well, it's a very romantic notion, of course, that ultimately really appeals to our deepest human desires. And that is our desire for connection. Now, the problem here is that taking on this approach can actually lead to us overlooking fundamental relationship issues. And while we typically are focused on romantic love when we think about this, it's also really important to remember that the spectrum of love includes all kinds of love, like platonic, familial, and most importantly, of course, you know it, self-love. Now, each type plays a crucial role in our lives, and each one shapes both our experiences and our relationships. So, love is essential, yes, but not the end-all, be-all. What I'm saying here is ultimately love alone sometimes isn't enough. And a successful relationship needs more than just love. It requires respect, trust, acceptance, and a whole lot of vulnerability. So let's dive in and talk about this a little bit further. I want to talk about the idea of love and acceptance, and unconditional love and unconditional acceptance, because these are not just things that we should sit back and wait to receive and expect from our partners. Because waiting on another person to have this experience is not us in our power. Rather, unconditional self-love and acceptance are gifts that we must first give to ourselves. And when you start to love and accept yourself unconditionally, you set the stage for relationships that are built on mutual respect and understanding, rather than on unrealistic expectations. This way, you are able to see this unconditional love and acceptance being reflected back to you. Or you can identify when it's not, so that you can take action to rectify this, so that you can change your experience for the better. Now, in my own personal journey, I have had the experience of finding that love alone could not solve all of the problems. Now, what I've discovered is that it's a combination of love, open, vulnerable communication, and mutual acceptance, clear boundaries, respect, and clear intentions, amongst other things, that made all the difference. So, for instance, when my partner and I hit a life snag, it isn't just the love that gets us through. It's our willingness to communicate. It's our willingness to open ourselves up, to understand each other's perspectives and other perspectives out there. It is our commitment to being on the same team, supporting one another, and ultimately working towards win-win solutions. It is our intention to not only speak kindly and respectfully towards one another, but to stay curious and seek clarity before we start making any assumptions or judgments. Now, believing this idea that love conquers all, like I said, can lead to overlooking some red flags or potentially tolerating unacceptable behavior. So let's take a quick look at a real-life example. Consider Carrie, who believed that love would fix her partner's commitment issues. So she tried harder and harder to love him. And yet, the harder she tried, the further he seemed to distance himself from her. Now, ultimately, this belief that love could conquer all led to more than enough time of emotional turmoil for the both of them. It's a classic case of this myth misleading our expectations about what love can do and is all about. Now, love should never be an excuse for poor treatment or a lack of boundaries. I will say here that forgiveness of the past and tolerance going forward are two things that should not be confused. Letting it go and forgiving is for you. Setting boundaries and moving forward is for you, but it's also for everyone else. Because remember, boundaries aren't a wall to keep people out, and you don't have to be mean or rude to assert your boundaries. Boundaries are actually an invitation to join your inner circle, but boundaries are only an invitation for the right people. And those who can't seem to adhere to treating you in a way that actually feels good for you simply aren't meant to be in your inner circle. I mean, if they can't respect your boundaries, they don't respect you, and they don't deserve a seat at your inner circle table. I'm going to be doing a whole episode on the topic of boundaries real soon, so stay tuned. And if this is an area that is a particular challenge for you, if you'd like to get a little additional support on setting and upholding boundaries in your relationships, you can take a look at my program, Authenticity Unleashed, as this program dives all the way into boundary setting and authentic expression. Because the truth is you cannot be fully authentically expressed without boundaries. And isn't it about time that you finally feel heard, loved, and accepted? Besides, love is also not meant to be martyring yourself or sacrificing your own happiness for another. Love is about finding a way for you to be happy together. Or apart, actually, if that's better. Calling all strong women. Are you trapped in a cycle of people-pleasing? Are you tired of saying yes when you really mean no? Have you been living for everyone but yourself? Welcome to Authenticity Unleashed. Imagine a life where you call the shots. Imagine living truly happy and free. Authenticity Unleashed was designed just for you, so that you can create the life and relationships that you desire and deserve. Picture setting boundaries without guilt and building relationships that truly lift you up. Ready for a new adventure? Register now and start your journey to a more authentic you. Craving more personalized support? Upgrade now and get tailored one-on-one guidance. Your life, your rules, your moment to shine. This is your Authenticity Unleashed. Now, a relationship, of course, is made up of two individuals, two whole people coming together. And for love to truly conquer, both parties need to be committed to both their own personal growth and self-awareness and to working together as a team. It's not more important for one or the other of you to have your needs met in relationship. That is no longer a relationship. Your willingness to be courageously honest, which is sometimes hard to do with the level of vulnerability required. This courageous honesty, both with others and with yourself, is paramount to creating the healthy and happy relationships that you desire and that you absolutely deserve. And if you're willing to shine the light on yourself, you will see things in your relationships shift. Now, if you need a tiny nudge or something to get started today, check the show notes. I'm going to throw some additional resources down there for you to get started on your journey to creating the love that you desire from the inside out. Now, love might bring you together, but there's a lot more pieces of the puzzle that need to be connected to keep you together for the long haul. Love is a beautiful, powerful force, but let's not forget the practical side of relationships. We need to remember things like financial compatibility and our personal goals. They matter too. Love truly needs a solid foundation and practical understanding. You've got to be, on the same page with your values and these kind of things if you want to truly flourish. And of course, effective communication is absolutely the lifeblood of any relationship. Without it, you're in trouble. Now, it's not just about expressing love. It's about discussing your fears, your hopes, and your boundaries. And open and honest communication ensures that love doesn't blind us to the realities of our relationships. As always, the most important thing is this loving foundation that you have in the relationship that you have with yourself. This is where love can conquer all. So cultivating self-love changes how we approach relationships. And when we love ourselves, we tend to set healthier expectations and boundaries. We tend to communicate our full expression. We tend to build our partner up and express gratitude, which really truly leads to more fulfilling and balanced relationships. So your mini challenge for this week is to identify any one area in literally any of your relationships that could use just a little bit more than just love or a desire to improve. I'm talking about something that requires you taking a little action. So acknowledge, first of all, where you are. Taking a moment to accept that this whatever is in this now moment. This is your starting point, right? There is no benefit to being If you are finding it challenging to navigate your relationship, I want to encourage you to reach out because I have one-to-one relationship mentorship and I have some mini courses, including Love Reimagined, to help you kickstart your path to creating love that you desire and deserve. A little bit of guidance can make a huge world of difference. And believe me when I tell you that you can create the loving relationships you desire and deserve. I completely and wholeheartedly believe in you. Now, coming up on the Create Your Happy podcast, you can get excited for even more relationship goodness. I'm going to be talking about all things relationship, covering topics such as communication, people-pleasing, perfectionism, relationship struggles, and boundaries. And if you have any ideas or topics that you would like me to cover, please comment below or reach out and share your ideas. I would absolutely love to hear from you. Now, that's a wrap for today, my gorgeous friends. But remember, embrace the messy, fucking beautiful adventure that is life. I love you. Now let's go do some epic shit, shall we? Thank you so much for listening to today's show. I trust you were inspired to take back your power and create your happy. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love to hear from you. Please subscribe, leave a review, and share the show with the women in your life who could use a little more inspiration today. If you'd like to connect or explore the additional resources mentioned in this episode, you can find those details and links in the show notes below. As always, get out there, have fun, be you, and create your happy.